Hello and welcome to Between the Books. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Isadora.
And today we are going to be recommending you some of our favorite books to read during the summer. We're in the middle of summer now. And if you're looking for some books to fill out your TBR, we have some suggestions for you. So Isadora, why don't you get us started?
Okay, yeah, Shannon. So we're going to kind of separate this into little categories, and we're going to start with romance. I feel like romance is the
quintessential.
Yeah, it's the genre of the summer. You know, you get, because what do you want to read in the summer? I think it's the time when you're like, I personally feel like I'm way busier. Like I'm always like have plans. I'm always out. So I don't want to be reading like a heavy book that's like a little too intense, like too much
or even depressing.
Exactly. I want to be in a good mood, and I feel like romances, for the most part, not all, but like they tend to, especially like rom-com stuff like that, like they tend to put you in a good mood. So I do prefer that. Another thing that I really like for reading in the summer is like I'm going to the beach, I'm going out, and if I want to bring a book, I don't want to bring like a tome, like I don't want to bring like a heavy fantasy book, you know. I want like those like easy little paperbacks that are like 200 pages. So that's kind of what I feel like for some of these are different, but we're keeping that in mind as well for like, what do you want to read in the summer? So starting with me, I feel like for as much as I love romance books, I feel like I'm slacking. I definitely have not read all the super popular up and coming books that I know that are out there, and I should definitely get to it. But what I love Emily Henry, she is like a very popular romance book. Everyone loves Emily Henry. She's got like great books, and I haven't read all of them, but I have read 3 of them, and I'm gonna just go out and recommend all 3. So, because I think everyone should just read it. Starting with the first one I read, which was Beach Read. So that one, even though it's called Beach Read, it does not take place at the beach. It's more like, I think they have lake houses, kind of. It's kind of maybe like a tiny beach type thing. But it's basically about this girl named January. And she goes to, her dad just died, and I think he leaves this house to her. And she goes there, and she's a writer. And she's hoping to kind of work on this novel, but she's having a really tough time, especially like after her dad died and everything, but she's on deadline, and she gets there, and her neighbor, his name is August.
Wow.
And she knows him. They were kind of rivals in university, so he's also an author, but he's like a famous author, and she gets pissed off. She's like, I hate that he's like famous and he's got all these books, blah, blah, blah. So, but he's also, they end up talking, and she realizes that he also is having a bit of like a slump, and he's also having a hard time writing his book, and he's more like a mystery writer, or like maybe literary fiction, I don't know, like stuff like that, and she's more like romance, fun fantasy, stuff like that. And they decide and make a little deal that they are going to switch genres.
Wow.
And she's gonna change the genre and write like a book that's more his style, and he's gonna change and write a book that's more her style. And they had like little things that they wanted to research and during this time off, so that would help their novel. And then they're kind of like going out and doing these things. So he had to like interview some people for the novel
like
that he wanted to read.
Between the books.
Like between the books, exactly. In between the writing.
Inspired by us, actually.
They did little activities. But yeah, so he had to like interview people and do like, so he's taking her, and then she had to do like fun little like cute things for like style of romance books. And so she's taking him on that, on like kind of dates almost. And then obviously they start having feelings for each other. It's really good. I think it's so fun, and I really recommend. The other book that I've read by Emily Henry is People We Meet on Vacation. Now, if you listen to our Emerald City Comic-Con episode, I dressed up as one of the characters, Poppy, for it, because there was a movie adaptation that came out, and this one's about Poppy and Alex, and they used to be best friends. They met in university, and Poppy works with like traveling and writing about traveling. I feel like a lot of Emily Henry's characters are writers and like work in that medium.
You know.
Exactly. And she kind of writes about traveling and stuff. So she's always traveling, and Alex and her, every year they do one vacation together. But when we start the book, they haven't talked for a couple of years, and we don't know why. But they're actually having to go to the same wedding, travel to the same wedding together. So then when they get there, stuff starts like coming back, and it kind of cuts between present and then past. And every past
I
is
love
like,
that shit.
I know. And every past chapter is like one of their summer trips, and it starts from the beginning, and then you're like, what caused them and they were like best friends, and it was like what caused them to split up and like why did they stop talking to each other. And so we get to like find out, and obviously there's romance and it's really fun. So I recommend that one. I think that one might be my favorite out of the three. And the next one is called Book Lovers. This one's about Nora, and she's like a literary agent, and I think she's like lives in the big city, and she's kind of, I think, having a tough time like finding a good relationship and all that stuff. And then her sister wants to take her on this little trip to like a small town, just to live like that small town cliche little like vacation that you see in like Hallmark movies, and like big city girl goes to the small town and finds like love type thing. So she goes there with her sister, and they've got all these little cute little places. I think if I remember correctly, the town that they go to is a famous town in one of the book series that her sister loves. So it's like she wants to do the touristy things and see the town. And then she meets Charlie, who she's known Charlie before, and Charlie is like an editor, and they kind of hate each other. Like every time they've met, like they ran into each other.
There's like a theme.
There's a theme. Exactly. Every time I don't think they met many times, but the times that they met in the past, like they just did not vibe well. Like there was like, they thought each other were rude or it didn't go well. So in this one, I think she's just like, trying to do her vacation. Charlie's just there. I think he's from there, if I remember correctly. So he's visiting family, something like that. And they just keep running into each other, and they eventually just start, feelings arise, but it is so fun. I think Emily Henry is the queen of writing banter, which is my favorite thing about romance. Yeah, like it's so good, the writing and the back and forth that the characters have, and especially because a lot of her characters are rivals first and lovers, or like in the People Meet on Vacation, they were friends and now they're not, so they are kind of bickering too. She's really good at that. Like the lines are so good. So anyways, that's my Emily Henry recommendation. She's got a couple more books out that I haven't gotten to yet, but I really want to, and I probably should read now for the summer because I think they're perfect summer books. Shannon, tell me about one of your recommendations.
So I don't read a lot of romance out of the two of us.
Yeah.
I do want to read more romance, but one romance book that I read that I liked quite a bit is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This is my only Casey McQuiston book that I've read, but she's like, I guess, more well known for Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yeah, I've read 3 Casey.
You've read 3?
Yeah, because I also read The Pairing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about the lesbian one. That's the one that called to me. One Last Stop is about August, who moves to New York City, and she's more like cynical. She's kind of going about her day-to-day life, but as she's doing her commute on the train, she keeps like seeing this girl, and her girl's name is Jane, and she's got like a huge crush on Jane. She's like a punk kind of vibe, and August is just really into that, and she's trying to like build up courage to like talk to Jane and everything. It's like the same thing where you see a person like every day and you're like obsessed with them, and eventually you learn that something's up with Jane. I don't know if I want to say specifically. It says in the Goodreads review, like synopsis, what
so
the issue with Jane is. I'll say it. Okay. So you find out, because this is crazy, you find out that Jane is actually from 1970 and she is trapped on the train. She cannot get off the train. And so August is trying to help Jane, I think, recover like her memories, because she doesn't remember like how, like what time it is, or like how she even got on the train. So you're trying to figure out what happened to Jane to get her stuck on the train.
She doesn't even know that she is from that time, right? She just
that's what I'm saying. So it's like eventually you find out, or she like remembers that she's from that time period. And August grows closer to Jane while trying to help her. I think I remember it was like super cute. Just kind of fun. I love trains.
Shannon loves trains.
I love trains. It's a very unique setting to me. I don't know why, just being the New York subway. But also, like, what I remember is that her group of friends that she also has is a very, like, eclectic cast of side characters who are also, like, lovable and also, like, pretty diverse. So if you're looking for that, it also ends happily. It's a romance. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, I would recommend this book. My next one was a podcast episode. We read it last year. If you have not read Tusk Love by Thea Guanzhang. I think you should. It is about merchant's daughter named Guinevere, who is betrothed to marry someone else and is traveling to go meet her betrothed, but is attacked by bandits on the road and is rescued by a handsome orc named Oscar. And Oscar offers to escort Guinevere to meet her betrothed. And as they are traveling through Exandria, they fall more in love with each other. This is like a tie-in novel with a Critical Role universe, but you like really don't need to read it. Or you don't need to have seen Critical Role to read it.
You don't even need to play D&D to
you don't
like
even
it,
need to know anything.
I'm not even that into like the D&D world, and I really liked that book. So
yeah, I think if you're into fantasy romance, I think this is a great one to read. I've not read any of Thea Guanzhang's work, but I hear she's very big in the romantasy sphere. And I would be interested in reading her other work because I love the way that Oscar starts off kind of, he's not even like, you know, that stereotype where it's like a strong buff man who's like hard but like soft on the interior. He's not even that. He's kind of soft the whole way through. And I think that's very sweet. And the way that he like treats Guinevere is very nice. It just like is cute to read.
Yeah, it gives you like the warm fuzzy feelings.
Yeah. So if that interests you, I think this is a good one to pick up as well.
I've got 2 more romances to recommend. So one of them is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This one was pretty popular when it came out, so a lot of people have read it. But it's basically about this girl named Piper, and I think she lives in LA, and she's like this kind of daughter of this really rich family, and she's kind of like a socialite. She gives like Paris Hilton vibes type thing.
Oh yeah.
And she kind of ends up partying way too hard one night, and I think she ends up in prison, like, but just for like just going too crazy. And her stepfather gets really mad at her, and to kind of get her to like, you know, come down from this like crazy life that she does, like come back to earth and like be more grounded and more like of a serious person, he sends her to this small town that her father was actually from in Washington. It's kind of like a fisherman town, and her sister goes with her, and she gets there and they have like this tiny apartment. It's like her dad used to own a bar there, and apparently like it's in their name, so she owns it. And she lives in, there's like a tiny apartment attached to it that they're supposed to stay in. And she's just like, she's basically been raised with like maids and all that. And she gets there, she has no help. But she runs into this guy named Brendan, and he's just like this big like sea captain that goes out fishing all the time.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But he's like really fun, and like automatically he's kind of like, oh, you're too like, obviously like not taking them too seriously. They're like, you guys don't belong here. But she ends up just running into him a lot, and then they just making this connection. And a lot of it too is her kind of learning more about her father, because she never really knew and like what he was like, and more about her mom, and just like actually realizing that it is the big city girl moves to a small town, falls in love. Like this one actually is that. Yeah, it's very like touching. And then she learns to be an adult type thing, and she starts like trying to do renovations in the bar because she wants the bar to do well and all that. And her sister's there, and there's like another guy too, and it's just really cute. And I actually really, really love their romance. Like I thought that it was really well done, so I recommend.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it is cute. I really liked it. And another one that I have is, I think it's kind of like the last romance one I have, is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And Christina Lauren is actually 2 people. It's like Christina and Lauren, and they write it together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they write a bunch of books together. It's very cute. And this one, first of all, look, I'm showing Shannon the cover. Look how like summery this is.
It's very like, there's a toucan.
I know, and just like tropical flowers.
Plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just bright yellow, very summery. So if you like bring it, I remember I read this in Mexico, and I was like, yeah, this is
fitting.
Yeah, I think it does take place in Hawaii. But anyways, so what happens is The Honeymooners is basically about Olive, and her twin sister is getting married, and there's Ethan, who is the best man. So is the And Olive and Ethan do not get along. They've had like a weird like first encounter, and then just ever since then they just kind of always been bickering. Like they just do not like each other. But they get to the wedding, and the wedding is fine. But then after the party, when everyone eats, they all eat this fish, and Olive and Ethan are the only people that don't eat the fish, and everyone gets really sick. Like they all get like really bad food poisoning or like this weird like illness. I don't know. Everyone just gets really sick. But they have these, I think her sister, she loves taking those like radio contests, and she won this vacation to Hawaii, and they couldn't rebook it or anything. So like someone had to go to their honeymoon trip.
Oh my god. Wait, so it's their honeymoon trip?
Yeah, so
and they go
Olive
on
and
it?
Ethan go to their honeymoon
Wow.
trip. So they've got the whole thing. Like I'm pretty sure it's only like a 1-bedroom, and there's a bunch of trips or like excursions and stuff that are already booked. There's like couple of stuff, massages and stuff like that, and they get there and they have to pretend that they are the newlyweds to the people that work there for some reason. I don't know why they couldn't just have said it. I don't remember why, but you know, they like hate each other, but they're like put into the situation, and it is so fun seeing them try and figure out. This reminds me of the Adam Sandler movie. I think it's called Blended.
Oh, I don't know. I've not seen this.
It takes place in a resort, and it's Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, and I think they also have to pretend. Is it that one, or is there's one also with Jennifer Aniston? One of them, Adam Sandler's pretending to be like married to this person. Similar to this, they're trying to like pretend they're a couple, and then like I think they run into people they know too, and then they have to like pretend that they're actually like the people that they knew in the past, and they have to act like they're together. It's almost like fake dating almost, but it's really fun. It's a really fun summer. It takes place in Hawaii. They're doing all these excursions, seeing all these things, and they fall in love. Shannon, tell me another one.
So we're leaving romance behind. I'm going to rec you one fantasy book. If you're going to read a fantasy book, I think that you should read this one. I've talked about this on the podcast before. It's one of my favorite fantasy books. I think you should read The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. The reason that I'm going to recommend this one to you specifically is that this book kind of, to me, is a fantasy adventure book. Mm-hmm. And I love adventure stories. And I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of fantasy isn't adventure to me. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's like political, like subgenre political intrigue, subgenre romance, subgenre, like, you know, that kind of stuff. Not a lot of, at least modern fantasy that seems to be hitting shelves recently is like fantasy adventure. And I love adventure movies. One of my favorite movies is The Mummy, 1999 with Brendan Fraser. I love that movie. But also, if you love Pirates of the Caribbean, for example, also a fun pirate adventure movie, I think you should read this book. I think it's really good. So it's about Amina Al-Sarafi, who is a retired pirate captain who lives in the Middle East. I'm trying to remember the time period off the top of my head. I think it's like the 14th century or something like that. And she was a pirate, but she has a daughter now. So she kind of hasn't been adventuring in a while, just to focus on taking care of her. But because of that, the money that she had earned is kind of like drying up. And a sort of like wealthy woman approaches her and tasks her with retrieving her daughter who's been kidnapped, and offers her like an obscene amount of money to like get her back. So in the hopes of like securing her daughter's future, Amina takes on hopefully this one last job, and to do so she has to get her entire pirate crew back together. So she goes, the first kind of like third of this book is her going around and like getting her crew back together, and it's super fun. Like just like the hijinks that they get up to, which is like similar to like an adventure kind of story, I think is really cool. And then once the team is together and we're on the seas, then obviously there's a lot of like danger and threats that Amina and co has to go through the adventure. And the thing I really love about this book is, one, I think the plot's awesome. Like it's just, honestly, it feels like so rare to me just to be like, I love the plot of this book. Yeah. Like I feel like plots are lacking. I don't know. Sure. But I think every obstacle that Mina and everyone has to face is so like smartly written and like well executed, and going back to that, the other thing I love about this book is the prose. I think the writing is really good and really descriptive. There's this, it's on the cover, so I'm going to say it, but there's a fight with a sea serpent. And when that was happening, it was so cinematic to me that I could just like picture it happening in my mind. And then there's also some magic in this universe. So it really gives to me like Pirates of the Caribbean 3 kind of vibes. I know like maybe people don't think that's a good movie.
It is.
But it is.
Yeah.
You're lying to yourself. I think that's so cool. So it's got more like magical, like fantastical elements to it. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, I think you should read it. The second book has come out, A Tapestry of Fate. It came out earlier this year. I have not read it, but I'm planning to, and I'm really excited. Maybe for summer. I bet it's also a summer book.
Okay, so I lied. I guess my next recommendation is kind of a romance.
Oh.
But it's different. So this is Attached to the Hip by Christine Riccio. And this one is, I've never watched Survivor. Have you ever watched Survivor?
No, I haven't. No.
But it's like that popular like reality show, people surviving on a beach island.
I know a lot of
forest.
people that love it. Yeah.
And so this one is basically a Survivor story. So it's Survivor meets The Bachelor type thing. So it follows Ori, and she loves Survivor, and she applies to be in it, or she applies to be, it's like a spin-off. They're doing like a surprise different type of spin-off of Survivor, and she applies to be in that because like people just don't believe, I think she just went through a breakup, people just don't believe that she can actually do hard things type thing. So she's like,
so funny.
I'm gonna prove myself, I'm gonna be a Survivor. And so she applies and she gets in. She gets to this place, and it's called Attached to the Hip, and it's basically all these contestants. I believe there's 2 or 3. They're all like people that you would be compatible with. Like they did like a little, like you're compatible with at least 3, I think, people in this group. And you're going to start being attached to the hip with a rope, by like 6 feet rope with one of the contestants.
6 feet is long.
Yeah, but like you have to survive.
I guess so. I'm like 6 feet so long, you could do anything.
Yeah, but then they have like a bunch of challenges and stuff. But I don't know if it's every day or every other day, they switch partners. And you switch with, I think it's usually with someone you're compatible with, or like there's votes and people like pick who they want to be attached with. There's a bunch of like different scenarios, but there's like, I don't know, it's a lot of Survivor lingo, but it's like you can get immunity for the next thing, or you can get an advantage for the next thing if you like do the right tasks correctly. And there's like group challenges, and then there's like challenges where you just like, they have to like go fishing, and they have to like make fire and live. But anyways, it starts with Ori being attached to the hip with Remy, who was her high school crush, and she's like very excited about that. I think I forget how you win, but I mean I think you win if you like do the challenges. But there's also the thing of like maybe you will fall in love. It's because again, it's kind of like a Bachelor thing. So there's the whole thing of everyone being compatible, but it is pretty fun. It's like, I won't say I loved it 100%. I think Christine has a very interesting voice when she writes, and some of the things are like a little too quirky. It's like a little too, like it references a little too much like certain modern media, and it's a little like too nerdy. I don't know, I'm not to explain, but there are some things that I don't love, but I think the concept is really fun. And yeah, it's just like them at the beach doing these challenges. It made me want to watch Survivor. I know Christine's a huge Survivor fan, but yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that's attached to that.
We have one mystery for you, if that's more your speed. This was also a podcast episode. If you want more of our thoughts, we are going to recommend to you Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by, I was going to say Ernest Cunningham, but that is not true.
It's by Benjamin Stevenson.
Benjamin Stevenson. It is the second book in the Ernest Cunningham series. You don't need to read the first one to read the second one, but if you want a winter read, it takes place at a ski lodge in Australia. So that could be fun. If you want a winter and then wait till the summer, you could pick this one up too. So this one is about Ernest, who was invited to a writer's festival that's taking place aboard the Gone. And the Gone is a train that takes people across the Australian outback. So it's hot. So the writers' festival takes place on this train. He's there with a bunch of other writers who were invited to the festival. And during the festival, someone is murdered. So it's up to Ernest and everyone else on board to try to figure out who among them could have committed the murder. This entire series is like a great locked room like mystery. Fair play mystery too, if you want to play along. You can listen to our episode where we try to figure out before Ernest tells us who did this and why. Super fun to read. And the voice, like the writing style, is very meta.
He's so good.
So it's really funny too. Like Ernest will like talk to you, like who's reading the book, and will be like, pay attention to this. The murder is going to happen in this chapter. Pay attention. But it's like actually funny. You know how like some books are try to be funny and they aren't. I think this one's actually pretty funny. Good. I also think like the one reason you might not like this is probably because of the voice, but I personally think it hits for us.
Yeah.
The third book came out this year, and I am just...
Well, the fourth book, I guess.
The fourth book came out this year. They had a Christmas novella. So you got your year planned out. You've got winter resort. You've got ski resort in the winter. You've got Gone in the summer, and you've got Christmas novella.
And then you've got Bank.
And now you've got Bank.
Somewhere around after that.
I'm waiting for you.
I know. I have to read the Christmas one, but it's like...
But she wants to wait for Christmas.
Oh, I don't even have to wait for Christmas, but at least when it's cold. Like, I can't read a Christmas book right now, guys.
So I'm waiting. But we really love this series.
Yeah, it's so
you
good.
should definitely pick it up. Okay, so I'm really excited because the other thing that I think summer is slowly becoming known for, at least in the book sphere, is horror books. So, like, this has been crazy to me because you know, like the concept of like Summerween, right?
Yeah.
It's like gotten like really big recently.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy to me.
I know.
Because it's from Gravity Falls.
Really?
Yeah. Did you know this?
No.
It's like, I was like trying to figure out like how this broke containment. But it originated because in Gravity Falls, there's an episode called Summerween. And they like wanted to have a Halloween episode for their like mystery kids TV show. But the show takes place entirely in the summer.
Oh.
So the town was like, oh, we're going to celebrate. We love Halloween so much. We're going to celebrate Halloween twice. So they have Halloween in summer. It's called Summerween. And I was trying to figure out how this broke containment 12 years later.
That's crazy.
that the episode aired.
I don't know.
Anyway, if you're ever wondering the origin of that, like it's like Michael sent me an email about Summerween. I was like, Michaels, how did you know about that? Where did you find that out?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think it's kind of like becoming like a mainstream term, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm just Googling it now because it just reminded me how Disneyland has the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
Oh, okay.
And that's in August.
Oh.
Like it starts in August. And I remember being like, I think it's because they're also kind of do this like summer Halloween vibe.
Disney just wants to... Yeah. Anyway, so if you're wondering where that came from, it truly was confusing to me, a Gravity Falls fan from day one. But I've got some horror books for you. I mean, I love it. I've got some horror books for you that I think you should read.
Yeah.
So my first one that I'm going to recommend is You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. Andrew Joseph White writes a lot of, or at least previously wrote a lot of like YA horror. I think that's what he's mostly known for. But this was his adult debut novel, and I read it.
Wait, what are some of the YA ones he's done?
They were all horror. So like The Spirit Bears Its Teeth is one, and Hell Followed With Us, I think is the other one. Those are like the two.
They kind of ring a bell.
Yeah. They're more like... I mean, they are YA books, but they've been like popular over the past like few years. I've been meaning to pick them up and I haven't. So this is my first Andrew Joseph White book. I feel like if you know him for YA, you should look up what the content warnings of this book, because this is not a YA book. So you should definitely like look up like some of the stuff in this one, because it gets like pretty gruesome. But this one is about Crane. And Crane ran away from home when he was younger. Now is a part of like this worm colony. Like,
worm?
Like, yeah, there's a worm. There's a huge worm.
Okay.
Not like a huge worm. There's a huge thing made of a bunch of worms. It's like a hive mind kind of thing. And so he's part of like this cult that like kind of...
Like worships?
Worship feels like such a strong word, but like take cares of the worm hive mind.
Oh, so they have like direct contact.
They have direct contact, yeah. And Crane likes it because it's like the one place where they've like accepted him. He's like a trans man and like transitioned when he left home. So like is happy with his worm cult family, except Crane gets pregnant.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking to me about this. Yeah.
And the worm hive mind wants Crane to keep the baby because of the baby's gonna be like their prophet, like that kind of thing. And Crane does not want to have a baby.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like body horror. There's a lot of worms. And there's also a lot of discussion about like gender dysphoria, things like that. So I would really recommend checking out the content warnings before picking this one up. But if any of that sounds interesting to you, I thought this was like a really good horror. I thought it was a good exploration of like those themes and topics. So I would recommend this one to you. My next horror book was also a podcast episode. I love talking about books on this podcast that we both read. It's The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. We both loved this book. It is about a castle that is under siege. I feel like I've talked about The Starving Saints like so much on this podcast. I'm going to give you the rec again. I'm going to give you the blurb again. Is about a castle that is under siege and is slowly running out of food and water. And in there's like a sort of witch who is in the castle and has been tasked by the king to try to conjure up food. And she's like, I cannot do this. Like, I don't know how to do this. And in their like time of need and their desperation, figures that appear to them as their gods, as like someone in their religion that they worship, appear in front of them and offer them a banquet of food, of wine, of water, and things like that. This castle falls into like delirious party kind of vibe, and the witch from before, her name is Focine, teams up with a knight of the palace as well as like a serving girl, and they are trying to uncover how these outsiders really made it into their castle, like beyond their like gates, and what kind of food and stuff they've actually brought. And it's really awesome. So this castle is like under siege like during the summer, so it's like really hot and stuff. So that's partially why we're recommending it to you as a summer book, partially because it's a really great horror. There's like a sort of delirious kind of vibe to it that Caitlin Starling writes so well. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I do think, it was just a very hot in multiple ways book. And it kind of gives that like uncomfortable, like you think of like a warm like summer night that's like a little too hot. That's the vibe that it gives to me.
Yeah, that's
like
good.
A stuffy. It's good. I recommend it too.
My last horror book that I have for you is actually a manga series. And by learned, I mean my partner told me right before we started hitting record, in Japan, their sort of horror season, so our horror season's kind of like with Halloween and like October and stuff, their horror season is like in August. That's kind of when their horror stories take place. So I'm recommending you a Japanese manga horror. It's called The Summer Hikaru Died. It had an anime that recently came out. I've not seen it, but I want to. But it takes place in this rural Japanese village, and a boy in this story, his name's Hikaru, he goes missing during the summer for, I'm trying to remember. I don't think it's months, but I think it's like a couple of weeks he goes missing. But then they find Hikaru. Hikaru comes down, and his best friend is not so sure that what comes down the mountain is actually Hikaru. So you find out pretty early on, like it's like in the first chapter, that there's like a monster that's like taken like Hikaru's like face and form, is like pretending to be Hikaru, but like this monster just kind of like wants to be loved. Like it's like, is it like why don't you love me like Hikaru, like I can be him, like, you know, kind of stuff. And so it's also about like his friend going through like grief about like losing his friend, like his friend like actually died like in the mountain, but also like this thing that like looks and has like the memories of Hikaru, like is it actually him? And also like this monster has like a lot of body horror and stuff going on with it, and the art is really, really good.
Yeah.
I read 5 volumes of it so far.
How many are there?
It's still ongoing.
Okay.
I think right now there's 7 in English and maybe 8 in Japanese. And I really want to read anime or watch the anime as well. I've heard really good things about it. But yeah, the summer vibes in it I think are incredible. Like I think out of all these books, this is maybe the most summer-y. It's really like August, like bugs, like evening, dusk, like kind of vibe. Really hot kind of vibe. Yeah, I think this one's really good.
So, as you know, this is the summer of Greek mythology. More specifically because the Odyssey movie just came out. So I feel like that has been something a lot of people have been talking about lately. And if you have seen the movie, or if you just want to, you know, be in that Greek mythology vibe, I have 2 that I want to recommend, which are the 2 Madeline Miller books, which is The Song of Achilles and Circe. I don't know why, they don't really necessarily take place in summer. They take place through like a bunch of years, but I just feel like it's the type of book I would like to read in the summer.
I think it's like adventure.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously a lot that happens in the stories of Achilles, and also like in Circe, like a lot happened, but it's kind of got the underlying vibe of like obstacles,
Yes.
adventure,
Yeah.
like kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's just fun to read.
And like Cersei, like most of it takes place in an island.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like there is a lot of like just the vibe that I get. It's like Greece and like in the sun.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the vibe
yeah.
that I'm getting in my head. So the Song of Achilles is about Achilles and Patroclus, and it kind of starts with them being young and meeting, and all the way to the Trojan War, which is in the Iliad. And it's like inspired by it. It's not like canon in Homer's Iliad necessarily, but they're basically, Patroclus and Achilles are very close to each other. Even in like the old Greek myths, they're like very connected. And so in this one, it's more of a romance between both of them, and it just shows them like training. It shows like when they do eventually have to go to the war, but also like when they're younger, and like basically learning about love and like falling in love with each other. And it's just very sweet. Like, it's sad too, but I think it's like a very beautiful novel. It's very beautifully written, and it's nice. And the other one is Cersei, which I almost like equally love it so much. And it follows Cersei and her myth. Again, it's not like canon to it's not exactly, but it's a lot of it Madeline Miller gets from the older myths, and it just tells the story of Cersei and like what made her be put into that island and like exiled, and why she does the things she does, why she turns men into pigs, and her connection, like how it is when Odysseus goes to see her and all that stuff. And it's pretty cool. So I definitely recommend reading this too. And also, obviously, you can't talk about summer and the Greek mythology if you don't talk about Percy Jackson. If you listen to our Sea of Monsters episode, you know we love Percy Jackson so much. It's the best. And obviously, it takes place in the summer camp during the summer, so it's the best time to read them. Obviously, it's like more of a middle grade book, but
it holds up.
It holds up.
It really does.
It does, and it's so fun. So if you've read it before, it's like a perfect time for a reread. And if you haven't read it yet, you should. It's a fun time. It's so funny. Great characters. Great inclusion of like Rick Riordan does such a good job at like introducing the different myths.
Yeah.
And putting it into the modern world and in their story, in their world. So that's really fun. And I love Camp Half-Blood so much. Wish I could go.
Speaking of camps, I've got two more books for you to finish us off. And the first one, I've not read this book. I cannot offer my opinions to you, all of you, but I did want to at least mention Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. This book is sitting on my bookshelf since we actually saw Chuck Tingle at Emerald City Comic Con, and I've been really meaning to read it, so I thought I would just mention it if it was interesting to you. It takes place at a camp, but it actually takes place at a it takes place at
Is it a spooky camp?
No, it's a gay conversion camp.
Oh, spooky camp.
So that's spook. That is pretty spooky. That is pretty spooky.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it's about this kid who's sent to the gay conversion camp and about him escaping the camp, but also that the camp is not entirely what it seems.
Wow.
So if you like that, if any of that sounds interesting to you, I at least want to read it. So
I also have a camp book, and this one I did recommend in our spooky books recommendation that we did back in like October, I think. So works for October, but especially works for right now because it does take place in the summer. It's called The Honeys by Rylan Lasala, and this one is about Mars, and Mars is a gender fluid character, but he goes by he a lot of the time, so that's the pronoun I'm going to be using. And Mars basically had a twin sister, and one day his sister was in a camp that they used to go together. Mars stopped going for a while, and one day his sister just like shows up at home from camp, and she's kind of like crazy, and they end up she ends up like attacking him, and there's like a whole confrontation, and she ends up dying, and they don't really know why she was acting that way, what happened. So Mars decides to go back to the camp and just spends the summer there and see if they can get any answers. And it's a very like boys on one side, girls on the other, so there's a lot of commentary in that too, especially because Mars is gender fluid. But he is trying to get close to the Honeys, which is this group of girls. So everyone's like different things that they have to take care of, and the Honeys especially take care of the bees, so that's why they're called the Honeys. They've got like little bees that they take care of, and they're like the pretty girls, they're like the pretty popular girls, and they're like so nice and like they're very very like everyone wants to be their friend. They seem so cool, and they look so pretty doing their things. So Mars gets really drawn in, and his sister was part of the Honeys. She used to live in the cabin with them. So he wants to get closer to them, and there's just weird vibes in this camp. Like, weird things happen, people start acting strange, and sometimes he feels like he's being watched by something, and like he hears weird noises, and it gets to a crazy ending. But it's really spooky because it is like a kind of a horror book, and I think it's more, I don't know if it's YA, but it might be, because I think they are like teenagers still, but it gets quite spooky, and the ending is crazy. But yeah, definitely like a horror summer camp vibe, and I definitely recommend. Shannon, we have one last book to recommend.
Yep. And this one's exciting. So our next podcast episode is going to be about this. So this is Slasher Summer by E.L. Chen. So this book is about a group of like young adults at this point, like in their early 20s, who are brought back to their town that they all like grew up in, because they're spending one last night in this cabin that was the filming location for a popular 80s slasher film. Slasher. It was just called Slasher.
Yeah. Was it Slasher or was it called Slasher Summer?
No, I think it was just called Slasher.
Oh, yeah, it was. Because then the second book was like The Slasher.
Yeah.
Or the spinoff. I don't know.
So it was the filming location for the like fake in-universe movie Slasher. And all these friends are like a fan of the movie Slasher. So they all come back to town last time to spend like a day like in this cabin. And they also are all like stereotypical, like one of them is like the jock, one of them is like the stoner, one of them is like the goth. Like they really didn't hang out in like high school, other than all of them like really liked this movie. So this is really like a love letter to like 80s like or 80s 90s like slasher films. So if you are a fan of that genre, then you might consider this book. We will tell you all of our thoughts about this book in our next episode, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is it for our recommendations. Let us know if you've read anything, any of these books, and let us know if you have your own recommendation you want to give us. That would be fun. And you can do that by emailing us at betweenthebookspod@gmail.com. You can also leave a comment here on Spotify or wherever you're listening. You can leave a little review. That would be really nice. And we also have an Instagram now, so you can go follow us. It's at betweenthebookspod. And there's where we're going to put like photos of our activities that we do for each episode, as well as like posting about the books, the upcoming episodes that are coming out. So definitely follow that if you want to get more information on what's going on. But that's it. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.